Hi, today for the Tuesday Toolbox, I want to talk about the 3 questions. The 3 questions are the things we need to consider before we go into a conversation that might be a little tense or that we just want to make sure goes well. And the first question is, how do I want to be experienced? Thinking about what it's like to be on the other side of you is very important when we have these kinds of conversations. So what is it that we want? How do we want to be experienced? The second question is, what do I want to accomplish? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? And if I can think about what is my end goal, but also keeping in mind the other person and what they're trying to do or how this might impact them, it can be very powerful. And then the third question is, what do I want long-term for this relationship? And again, part of that is about how we want to be experienced. An example, a little story I'll tell is my oldest son is a little conflict averse, and I'd asked him not to do something, and he did it anyway, and I was very upset. And so I wrote this scathing text, and I decided to sleep on it. And I said, how do I want to be experienced? I'm like, I really don't want my son to experience me in this way. And what do I want long-term for the relationship? Well, I want to be in a loving relationship for him the rest of our lives. And while I could have said, we'll get over it, that wasn't what I wanted. And what am I trying to accomplish? Well, I didn't want him to do this thing, and I was a little frustrated that he had, but it paused me, and I didn't send the scathing text, and it gave me space to be able to have the conversation in a very different way a couple days later. And also, Stephen Covey says we have a split second to decide if we're going to react or respond to a situation. And reacting is that visceral, what our initial thought is, and responding is being intentional and thoughtful and not being on autopilot. So if we think about how do we want to be experienced, what do we want long-term for our relationship, and what are we really trying to accomplish? If we answer those questions before we go into tough conversations, it can help us and it can make things go smoother. Have a great day.